Time now for a big board, and we're breaking down more of this morning's top stories. Dan Abrams, you see him here at the table with us. We're going to get to your story, Dan, in just a moment. But first, let's start with Kanye West. The rapper canceling his tour and hospitalized last week for exhaustion. Now, People magazine is reporting West is under, quote, constant watch for his safety. People's executive editor, Kate Coyne, joins us now with details on this. Always good to see you, Kate. A lot of concern here. What can you tell us?
You know, I think it's right for people to be concerned. We're entering into a full week now that Kanye West has been hospitalized. And I think that what that tells you first and foremost is this is more than exhaustion. Sources are telling us he's grappling with paranoia, that they are trying to figure out a course of medication that may help, but that there are still very many unanswered questions at this time, and it's an ongoing struggle.
And Kate, his wife, Kim Kardashian, she already has 2 young kids at home she needs to worry about. And now she has to worry about this with Kanye. How's she handling all of this?
You know, she's also, of course, still dealing with the trauma of what happened to her in Paris. And so in the wake of all of this, she is not bringing the kids to see Kanye in the hospital, which I think is actually kind of understandable. You know, it could be very traumatic, especially for their daughter, North, to see their dad in a hospital room, in a hospital bed. So she's keeping them away for now, but it remains to be seen how much longer he's even going to be in the hospital. Saint's birthday is coming up on December 5th.
That's true.
Yeah.
We're thinking of both. All right, Kate, thank you.
Keep our eye on that. And the latest issue of People magazine is out this Friday if you want to read up more on that story. And up next, a heated debate about random drug testing. An Indiana school board is facing backlash for approving a measure that requires certain high school students to consent to surprise screening. And we sat down and you said, boy, we have a debate going on here. You know, a lot of parents, this is dividing the community. A lot of them feel like this is invasion of privacy. Others think it's fair.
Yeah, and it was a 3-2 vote in the board. Look, it's definitely legal, right? The reason it's legal is because you're talking about extracurricular activities and students who park on campus. Those are the ones who are subject to the random drug screening. The Supreme Court has actually weighed in on this. In 1995, said it's okay to test kids who are playing sports. In 2002, they said it's okay to test kids more broadly involved in extracurricular activities. Now, whether it's a good idea is a separate issue from whether it's legal. And it actually exists in about half of the public schools in Indiana right now.
Really? But it's almost like so if you want to play sports, I have to do this. But if I don't play sports, I don't have to get tested.
If you don't engage in extracurricular activities. And that's one of my arguments for why this is such a bad idea, which is I think that if you say to people, oh, if you engage in extracurricular activities, you're suddenly subject to drug testing. Well, what does that mean? That means that some kids are going to say, you know what? I just won't do extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
There's also the ability to cheat on these tests, and there's also the fact that these testing isn't effective. The American Academy of Pediatrics has strongly come out against it.
Okay, that's one side. We got two dads here. We got 2 moms on the board as well.
Dan
Becky,
is fired up.
That's my case.
You know,
Becky wants to weigh in.
I'm going to jump in here, Robin, because at the high school in our town, they breathalyze at the school dances, and that makes sense to me when they're breathalyzing for alcohol. Now, as a parent, my philosophy is a lot like U.S. foreign policy. Trust, but verify. But that's my responsibility as a parent. I don't want an organization necessarily doing that for my kids and maybe having it on their record.
That's true. How about you, Kate?
You know, I'm coming down somewhere in the middle on this one, as I have 2 boys who are approaching adolescence in just a few years. And for me, at this point, anything that serves as a potential deterrent, if this testing proves to have that sort of impact to deter people as opposed to just punish them after the fact, has a sort of appeal to me. I can see the allure to something that would scare my kids off of maybe going a little too far on the weekend.
I'm with Kate on that one.
Yeah.
I like that. I was a subject of random drug testing as an athlete, and you go in and it's like, hey, come over here right now. And if you do the right things, you have nothing to worry about. But I don't want them punished for something or mistake that they made that sticks with them for the rest of their lives.
Especially
but
at
I
that
do
age.
agree with Kate. If there's something that can deter them, I don't think that's
The remedy is supposed to be counseling in this kind of case. Remember, they can also, they can cheat, and there's also the argument that marijuana, for example, is much more detectable than potentially harder drugs. So it could actually even encourage kids. Anyway,
There's a lot
of stuff.
There. But you know how we feel here, so at home we'd love to hear you weigh in as well. But now to what could be one of the hottest gifts of the holiday season, drones, and cue the drone.
Yeah.
But there is a new report out up this morning
That is a
from
tiny drone.
McAfee Labs is sounding the alarm bells about the rise of drone jackings, where hackers literally take over the device. Becky, you are our expert on this. I know this was a gift for your twins last holiday season. So tell us more about this. What do you think about what's behind the jackings?
We've heard stories of drones taken out by annoyed neighbors with a shotgun, but this report predicts we'll see a drone taken over by hackers. They could use gear like simple stuff, a laptop, software, a directional antenna. I mean, you got a drone there in the studio, you basically have a flying computer. But I think before parents freak out that the kids' holiday toy is going to be poached out of thin air, think Amazon drones. McAfee Security Report anticipates this is going to start with the high-end stuff, commercial deliveries, maybe aerial photography or law enforcement. But I have this image of a commercial drone carrying an Amazon package. A hacker crashes it down. It's like a piñata for a sophisticated thief.
Wow.
So forget about those walking into somebody's door and taking a package that's there. They literally just hijack your drone.
No drone zone, I say, in terms
You'd have
of.
to be
no
pretty
drone?
sophisticated, like I said. It's a little easier to just grab it off the porch.
Well, does anybody here have a drone on the Christmas list this year?
I'm actually really thrilled by this report because I had crossed it off my list already, and now I feel fully vindicated. I wasn't getting one because I was convinced my boys would smash it within the first 48 hours, which they would have. And now it's like, great, hacking, another reason not to do it.
As your mom, you're always justified, Kate. You're a mom. You don't need
Exactly.
justification.
They really would have destroyed it in about 48 hours.
And
So.
how the twins like the drones from last Christmas, Becky?
Kate's hit the nail on the head, except half as much. It was trashed by the end of Christmas Day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Going to be on your Christmas tree?
Absolutely not. No, and particularly, I don't want my neighbors to have them. All right. Yeah. I mean, I don't want it, but that's the more important to me than not on my.
I had a neighbor who had one. It wasn't a very good neighborly thing to
It's a
have.
quiet one, though.
That's a very quiet. It's tiny.
I'm waiting to see how close he can get to Strahan without
There
him
we go. I caught it.
swatting it.
All right.